Hey guys, it's Gareth, also known as Pew Pew Pew, and I'm bringing you the Season 3 Week 2 of the GPC. Coming off a loss, I'm going to be honest, I kind of lost my mojo until I had built a team, and I'm going to do that of course right now, show you why I built it, what I did. And last week I forgot to show you the spreadsheet, show you the two teams, but now you can. So here you have my team, here you have Omega's team. Omega is my opponent this week. Links to him, of course, will be in the description. I'm going to be honest, I wasn't as afraid of Omega this week as I was of Bob last week. At the same time, Bob was a former champion, so that's understandable. And plus, my team has a decent matchup against his. His main strategy, as you can tell, is the Excadrill sweep, and I have Mega Scissor, which can deal with it quite well. Yeah, so what I expected him to bring, I guess I should go over, is Excadrill Tyranitar, obviously, Rotom Heat, because it does pretty well, and it's one of the things on his team that can actually hit my Mega Scissor. I expected Honchkrow as well, because birds do well against my team. I kind of expected Machamp, to be honest, because fighting is a type that's quite good against my team, aside from, of course, all the different poison types. And I wasn't sure what he was going to bring other than that. I kind of expected Gastrodon, maybe to deal with stuff like Nidoking and Mega Scissor, of course. But I'll go over now what I brought in the on Showdown. So I'll see you in a sec. So here's the team that I brought. As you can tell, I brought a lot of things from last week in Mega Scissor, Terrakion, Chandelure, and Tentacruel. Reason being, not only do I feel comfortable with these mons because they do things well, and the way that I played them was pretty good last week, they also have a good matchup against his team, and I'll go over why when I go over each mon, of course. Scissor, first of all, was the primary stop to Excadrill. With this set, I can take a +2 Earthquake with Life Orb after a Rock Switch in, or take 2, obviously, if he doesn't have the +2 up. I've got Superpower with this attack investment to Oko it if he's got a certain amount of HP investment. I can't remember how much it was. I did a bunch of calcs. It was the amount of, if he was going to outspeed Max Speed Chandelure, he would have had a certain amount of HP, and that's to Oko it with that certain amount of HP. Roost, just for longevity, Bullet Punch, U-Turn, Superpower, as I said, for coverage, U-Turn for momentum, Bullet Punch because it's Mega Scissor, you have to run Bullet Punch. Onto Terrakion. This was the win condition this game. This outspeeds everything on his team. No need for a Jolly Set, no need for anything. His team is super slow. The only thing that would outspeed it is Floatzel, but I didn't expect him to bring it at all. Or Excadrill in the Sand. That's why I have the Sugar Berry. My idea was he'd kill something off, I'd get a switch into this, get a Rock Polish off, eat an Earthquake, and then just sweep. It just deals so well with most of his team. I honestly thought this was going to be the biggest win condition of this game. So, yeah, you'll have to see how it did in the actual battle. Then we have Chandelure. This was to sort of get rid of Honchkrow, because I knew that if I brought this in, he'd want to Sucker Punch it. I'd just sub up, get a Fire Burst off, Oko it. It doesn't matter if I lose my sub or whatever. But yeah, that would just get rid of Honchkrow, dead out. This investment outspeeds it, max speed Honchkrow, max special attack and enough of just rest in HP. I put it enough speed to outspeed. I think it was Honchkrow was the fastest thing that wouldn't outspeed this if it was max speed, because he has Roserade, which is base 80 if I remember right. And I didn't think that he'd run max speed if he did bring it, so that's why I've got this investment. Now we have Nidoking. Life Orb Sheer Force, of course. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention this is Fast Fire, just in case I had to switch in on an Overheat. This was like a pseudo check to Rotom Heat. And yeah, the other abilities are kind of, I had to go for those. Life Orb Sheer Force, of course. Earth Power, Sludge Wave, Sucker Punch, and Ice Beam. This coverage hits most of his team. Sucker Punch for priority, of course, in case I need it on Excadrill. Even though I brought Sheer Force, I had it in the team builder and everything. In the actual battle, I had Poison Point, which is Poison Point the default one? Yeah. poison point, which is quite unfortunate, but it didn't really matter in the end. You'll see. But it's kind of frustrating that Showdown messed up like that, because I did have it as sheer force. I remember making sure that I had everything right before the battle, because I had plenty of time. And yeah, it just didn't happen for some reason. Showdown can be a problem sometimes. It's Earth Power and Sludge Wave. Sludge Wave was just in case you brought out Mega Altaria. This is the speed investment to outspeed it. Earth Power hits Excadrill and Tyranitar very, very hard. Ice Beam is for Honchkrow and Roserade. Sucker Punch for priority, as I said before. Yeah, I've already explained the EVs. Now we have Tentacruel once again. I've got a feeling this one will be one of the most reliable walls on my team, because it does well. It's done well both weeks. It chews up special hits for days with this spread. Now the defense investment is to take a Life Orb Earthquake again. The Spadef investment is for, I can't remember what it was exactly. Oh yeah, it's to take 2 Volt Switches from Rotom Heat with the Rock Switch in. Max HP of course, and enough special attack. I was tempted to run it in speed, but I just put it in special attack. I can't remember what it was. I think it was to 2-hit KO or something with Scald, like Excadrill or something maybe, I don't know. And Giga Drain, oh yeah, I've got Rapid Spin to get rid of rocks of course. Scald, because it's Scald, it's the best move in the game. Giga Drain to hit Gastrodon if he brought it, and because generally it would stop Tentacruel, but Giga Drain kind of comes as a surprise, even though I ran it last game. Toxic, just to wear down his walls, and because it's just Toxic Spikes wouldn't have been good because he has a grounded poison type, so yeah, it wouldn't have been reliable. And finally, Choice Scarf Staraptor, just my nuke button. This coverage hits practically all his team. Double Edge does a whole lot to Rotom Heat as well, so it's just there to nuke something basically. That's all it's there for. Speed was to outspeed max speed to outspeed Jolly, what's it called, Excadrill without the sand, because I can't outspeed it otherwise. Close combat to deal with Excadrill and Tyranitar, and the rest is just coverage and U-turn for momentum. Of course, if you watch last week's video, you know that I like momentum. Momentum is a big thing for me, so that's why I brought U-turn instead of, I don't know, quick attack or something else. But there you have it. That's my team. I think it deals well with a lot of his. I think if I get a Rock Polish off, it's pretty much game. If I get a free sub up and his Terrakion is lowered, it could be game as well, because this deals with a lot of his team. Nidoking didn't put in too much work to the freaking poison point, but that's okay. And my walls deal well with his team, so I think that pretty much sums up what I brought and why I brought it, and we can move on to the battle now. So here it is. Here are the teams that were brought. As I said in the builder before, I expected these two, of course, for the combo. I expected this to deal with Mega Scissor. I kind of expected this to wall my two physical attackers, sorry. And I expected Honchkrow, but Dusclops was not something I factored in at all. It wasn't something that I was expecting all that much because I have Chandelure. But aside from Chandelure, it deals with most of my team pretty well, and that was kind of daunting to me, but I knew I could sort of deal with it well enough to the point where it wouldn't be that much of a problem, so let's just get straight in. He leads off with Rotom. I, of course, lead off with Mega Scissor. I should have led off with Staraptor in hindsight, because this was kind of an obvious lead, but Scissor just had a great matchup against most of his team, whereas Staraptor didn't all that much, especially if he led off with Tyranitar, and I don't know why I didn't lead off with Staraptor. I should have really, but I didn't, and so that was kind of my first mistake of the game, I guess, but I'll take it. I proceed to switch out, of course, into Chandelure, predicting the overheat. I can take a Volt Switch anyway if he does decide to do so. He hits it, and that just shows me that it's offensive, the damage that it dealt. And he goes straight into Honchkrow. This is perfect. I knew, as I said in the builder, I knew he was going to Sucker Punch. He had to, predicting, I don't know, like a Fire Blast on a Scarf set or whatever. So I just sub up. And I get behind a sub for free. And I can just proceed to kill this off, and that's a huge, huge threat to my team gone down. This Honchkrow is just so scary, man, and to get rid of it just like that is it's unbelievably good, and all the momentum now is on my side, and there's just no stopping me. He goes into Rotom Heat just to Volt Switch out and break my sub. I knew he was going to do that, so I just set up another sub. It was probably the easiest play in the game to predict. So yeah, I set up a sub. Sandstorm, you can see, is very annoying because it hits you before you get your leftovers, and that's a big thing. I wanted to get damage off on this. This shows me that he's a bulkier set, not necessarily fully speed invested, and he breaks my sub with a Stone Edge, which is a big problem because now I know he's going to Pursuit. I should have gone for an Energy Ball in hindsight just to get even more damage off to wear this thing down even more. It didn't really matter in the end. But yeah, this was a huge misplay. I should have switched out with the sub up when he was going to go for the Stone Edge into something like Nidoking or even Mega Scizor just to take the hit, because losing Chandelure is quite a big problem. Now I don't have anything to switch into an Overheat, aside from Tentacle, which does take a bit from Volt Switch, so I'm going to play around with that quite well. And it does a lot of damage to most of his team, so I'm kind of disappointed this drops. And let's not forget Dusclops is now a huge problem. So as I said, I switch out, he has the Pursuit of course, and it killed me. So that's Chandelure gone once again to a Pursuit. Oh no, sorry, last time it was a Sucker Punch instead of a Pursuit. That's Chandelure dropping down again. But he got a kill this time, so I'm quite happy. Now I go into Nidoking. I know a Sheer Force Life Orb Earth Power does kill. And this is where I find out that I'm not exactly what I thought to be. I go for the Earth Power, he finds the Life Orb of course, I go for the Earth Power, it does check all, and I take Life Orb damage, and here I just go, I literally just go crazy. You can't see it, but in the Showdown chat I just got mad at Showdown. Simply because if that did come to bite me, it wasn't my fault and it wasn't something I could control, so it would have been very, very, very anger inducing, but it didn't. He Will-O-Wisps me. I knew he was going to go for the Will-O-Wisp on the switch, so I just went into Tentacle. I can deal with it. And Sandstorm and Burn is constantly getting 12% off every turn, and that's annoying me, but I can deal with it. Here I expect the switch into Gastrodon, but I also didn't want him to stay in, so I just go for the Toxic. It was my safest play, because he wasn't going to go out into Excadrill. And this allows me to wear this thing down. I go for the Giga Drain, just because it hits him hard. He has a Rindo Berry, which is interesting. They were saying in Skype they were expecting HP Grass Mega Scizor, which would have been completely crazy, but I didn't even think about it, to be honest, because I wanted more of a defensive set this week. That's an interesting thing to build for. I enjoy that, and plus it would have probably taken Energy Ball from Chandelure in that case. So Giga Drain does nothing. He Scalds, predicting a switch maybe into Staraptor. It doesn't do much, of course, because I'm a freaking Tentacruel. And here he's low HP. He won't take another Giga Drain. I think he's going to switch straight out into Rotom because it won't die if I Scald anyway. So I Scald, and he's not Storm Drain. And here I look at Gastrodon's abilities and I think to myself, this is Sandforce Gastrodon, and it does a whole lot with Earth Power. I mean, Tentacruel chews that up, of course, but that was a lot of damage, man. He switches out conserving this for some strange reason, I'm not exactly sure why. I go for the Scald, of course, Dusclops switches in, and this is where things started to get a bit hairy. I Toxic, just knowing that I'm going to die, and then he rests. And here I thought, there's no way I'm killing this. This is just going to completely warm me, I can't do much to kill this. So I just need damage on this to have something revenge kill or clean up, and then yeah, once this wall drops, basically Terrakion sweeps. That's all there is to it. His Gastrodon is weakened, Stone Edge kills this, Close Combat kill those two. It's just basically GG at that point. So I just wanted damage off on this. I go for the Brave Bird. It does a lot of damage. That's specially defensive. That's a lot of damage. And he goes for the Sleep Talk and gets the Will-O-Wisp, which is very unfortunate for me. But I knew it was coming. It's unfortunate that it had to drop onto the Will-O-Wisp, but it happens, I guess. And in the end, it didn't matter all too much because this is just going to die anyway. It just incited me to sack it off. So I just keep going for Brave Birds. I get a crit here, it's kind of revenge I guess for that, but it's just allowing me to get some damage off on Rotom Heat. I guess he didn't know I was a Scarfed, and so he takes even more damage. And he proceeds to kill me off with a Volt Switch. And he Volt Switches into... I can't remember now. Oh yes, Tyranitar. This is the biggest turn of the game, because I switch into Terrakion, and he knows he can't stay in. He needs to keep this around to set up the Sanford Excadrill in just in case he needs it late game. And I know I can just freely set up a Rock Polish because I have Sugar Berry. He then, when we were talking in Skype later, he said he misplayed here, he wanted to Superpower. And Superpower would have killed because I don't have a Focus Sash or anything. I am, as I said, Sugar Berry, which would have allowed me to live a Ground type move, not a Fighting type move. So that's... I mean, there's no way he could have known that I was going to run Rock Polish, but... And he couldn't sack this off. It wasn't a bad play per se, but that was really what sealed the deal here. I just get a free Rock Polish off, he switches into Gastrodon, just sacking it, and it's a bloodbath from here on out. Terrakion's a monster. I close combat. I don't care about the defense drops because he's got no priority. I can kill everything on his team, aside from Dusclops, but that's not going to kill me. He finds the Sugar Berry, doesn't matter at this point. I Stone Edge, hit, thankfully. He goes to the Sleep Talk. I'm praying for the non-Will-O-Wisp. He gets the rest. That's just the best possible outcome. I mean, if it Nightshaded or whatever move he had, it wouldn't have really mattered. Iron Head just so that I don't miss. And yeah, it's all over now. Close combat to kill this. I'm surprised it wasn't Sash or maybe even a Chople Berry, is it, for the fighting type? I can't remember. But yeah, this is just the cleanup crew right now. Close combat will kill this. Terrakion coming out this week with a nice and 5-0, so shooting up the MVP race right now. I think it's one of the best threats on my team, and I think I demonstrated how well I can use it, and that's the game. GG Omega. It was a very, very scary battle. As soon as my Chandelure dropped and you got the Will-O-Wisp on Staraptor, I thought it was going to end there. Thankfully, I got the favourable matchup against the Tyranitar and was able to set up a Rock Polish. Once again, his links will be in the description. I highly recommend you go check him out. And on that note, I guess I'll see you in the next week, where hopefully I can get another win. I actually can't remember who I'm facing next week. I don't think it's Pierre. I think Pierre is later on. I can't think right now. I'll probably put it in the description or something if I remember to do so. Once again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.